Welcome to Survivor Stories Saturdays on Now TV. This is where survivors share their truth, raw, unfiltered, and real. Every story you hear is more than memory. It's a lesson, a warning, and a beacon of hope for those still finding their way out of the fog. The mission of the Now movement is simple: to break the silence, to expose the red flags, and to remind every survivor that healing is not only possible, it's powerful. Because when one of us speaks, others find the courage to step into freedom. This is Survivor Stories Saturdays. Stay powerful.
Throughout the years, I didn't realize that I was living around and being around so much toxic behavior, even in the relationships that I was dating, narcissistic men as well. And even those toxic people, they weren't all, some were women as well in that, in that aspect. But I was around a lot of toxicity, and I didn't understand why I couldn't get it right. I wanted so much more in my life, but at the same time, I wasn't elevating at all. I was actually doing the same thing repetitively every single day. And it was till I really got a reality check one day when one of those toxic individuals, we went out to a party and they set me up. They set me up, they put me in a situation that I didn't even know nothing about. And we were in a place that was actually a little out of bounds from where we lived. So not only did they set me up and put me in a confrontational situation, but they also left me. And at that point in time, they stole my wallet, they stole my purse, they took everything. So they left me with nothing, along with leaving me to have to fend for myself in an area that I knew nothing about. And once I had that reality check, and then when I did make it home, I knew then that I had to change. I had to change the people that I was hanging around. They really didn't even mean me any good, and I didn't even have a clue. You understand? Because I was so busy trying to fit in with the trend of the world. You know what I'm saying? I was doing, like I said, the same thing repetitively, and I'm talking about for years. And again, trying to fit in with a trend that didn't serve me any purpose. And even when I went back and started analyzing about the relationships I was in with these also toxic and again narcissistic men, it was the same thing. It was the same thing even in my own home. When I was in a relationship from 23 to 31 with my two youngest kids' dad, never realizing that I was dealing with a narcissist. Never realizing that him and his family were so toxic. It was like drama every other day or every other week or whatever. It was constant. It was so often I can't even keep up with it. But I knew then that I also needed to get away from them. And that reality check hit me again in another situation where something went down, and I just got tired of it. The thing is, sometimes we get so used to being in these situations that we don't see the toxicity, we don't see the narcissism, because I didn't. And I'm telling you, I was there for years. But once I saw it and I was able to reevaluate myself, not these people, but myself, then I was able to get out. Then I was able to get out of there. And I'm going to be honest, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy because, again, I was already in a routine. So therefore, I had to break it. I had to break that repeated cycle that I was in, so that my children didn't have to go through the same hell that I had. I couldn't have lived with myself if I did allow that, and even with their own dad. I had to get. I'm so thankful. I had to get them away from him, and honestly, it wasn't my own doing. It was the help of the Holy Spirit and our Father God above, because I started praying, I started asking, I started telling them that I wanted and I needed to do better, that I needed to have, I needed to live more purposefully, because at that time I was careless with my living. I was careless to even allow these individuals to be around me, knowing that I was not that type of individual, because I was not a troublemaker. I wasn't the type of person that would start problems or put people in confrontations or tell a lie and have someone else pointing the finger at someone else for them to take the blame. Like, I would never do that, knowing that my heart wasn't postured in that way. I wasn't like those people. And the whole time, I thought they were playing me. In reality, I was playing myself, because I allowed myself to be put in these situations. So sometimes what we got to understand, as we set forth to make boundaries, you got to know who you are first and foremost. You got to evaluate the man in the mirror. You have to know, is this really who you are? And 9 times out of 10, it's not. Unfortunately, 9 times out of 10, it is not. Honestly, everything that has taken place in my life it leavened me. It leavened me so that I was able to leaven out. You understand? It leavened me so that I was able to be leavened up. You understand? And now I govern myself more accordingly. Now I'm more mindful of where I go. Now I'm more mindful of who I go and hang around. Because I don't want that toxicity to rub back off on me. I don't want that narcissistic individual back around me, because one thing about a narcissist, they will make you feel that you are the lowest thing ever. And they will make you feel that you are never right. You are wrong for anything and everything that you have going on. And it's just like, it's more draining than anything to deal with those individuals, because they're not only draining your thought process and your mind, and playing with your mind at that, playing with your intelligence, but they're draining your energy. They're draining your energy. You understand, when they talking to you as if you're nothing or you're no one. You understand? And like I said, even when they're wrong in a situation, they make it seem like it's you. So those are individuals that we most definitely do not need to be around. How will we ever be able to elevate? How can you have a conversation with someone when they don't even respect what you're saying? How can you talk to somebody who don't even care about what you think or your feelings at all? It's just all about them. And they stay, trying to make you feel low. That is draining. It's truly draining. And it will deprive you if you choose to deal with that. Any kind of toxicity, any narcissistic individual, they will drain you. This is why the boundaries are necessary. The boundary isn't just to protect you from them. It's also to protect you from you. Because when you know better, then you can do better. Knowing is just half the battle. Knowing is just half the battle. It's putting your good foot forward. That's going to make the change. And understand that I always say in my motivational videos, change is necessary. Change is a must. If nothing changes, then your life will remain the same. And that's not how life goes. That's not how it works. We must be elevated in our lives. The older that we get, we should be elevated. And I just spoke about this as well in a video. As you grow older in your age, you should be growing mentally, physically, emotionally, and overall spiritually. As you grow with your age. So like I said, now it is known more than what it was back in my time, to give you more signs of these narcissistic individuals. See, then we didn't know. We didn't know that that's what they were. We just looked at it like they were just drama folk. You understand, not knowing that this was a characteristic that they actually carried. It was a trait. Something that needed to be broken. But the only way that it can be, and is for you to break it. For you to be more mindful of who you surround yourself with. For you to have the proper discernment to be able to know and analyze who an individual is from the inside out. If they are truly who they say they are. Do they really care? Do they really have your best interests at heart? These are all the questions that you have to ask before you get yourself in a bind. And that's in a friendship, a situationship, or in an overall any relationship that you choose to get in moving forward. It's serious. Time is of the essence. We no longer want to be wasting our time or allowing any individual to drain our energy. And we want to be around people who have good spirits, good intentions, great motives, who want to see you grow and elevate, who will inspire you to set those boundaries. So that's what I want to leave with y'all today, so that you can know, again, know better to do better, so that you can know to be mindful of the individuals that you are around. To go and do that mirror check. Because sometimes you have to check yourself before you wreck yourself. Just because you're trying to fit in with this trend, with this worldly trend. That's not what it's about. You have to worry about you. If something goes wrong, who will take care of you? You have to know better. You have to know how to pick and choose your company accordingly. If not, they can leave you in detrimental situations. So, again, I'm Allure Unique. I represent Real Struggle, Strength, Motivation, y'all. I just had a new book drop. It's called The Game of Life. And it is strategies from the streets to the sanctuary. And this is where I'm just dropping them nuggets on you to let you know how to move and how to elevate, how to live rightfully and righteously, how to upgrade your spirit man. Because that's what it's all about. Because if we allow this flesh to lead us, ain't no telling where it's going to take us. We have to have some type of spiritual incline. We have to be inclined spiritually. We have to be spiritually inclined and aligned in order to be able to elevate in our lives in the rightful way, in order to live a purposeful life. So, y'all, again, I represent Real Struggle Strength. I love y'all, and I hope this message resonates.
This has been Survivor Stories Saturdays on N.O.W TV. Every voice we share breaks another chain and lights another path forward. If you're ready to take your next step, the N.O.W Healing Library is free and waiting for you at thechurchofrealtalk.com. Join us next week for another story of survival, strength, and freedom. Until then, stay powerful.